Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gene's Reviews. Reviews from a regular dude, where I do trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, I review YouTube channels. Occasionally, I'll review a movie, but really, I just do whatever the hell I want. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gene's Reviews. Reviews from just a regular dude down in the basement. Another one from Top 5 Unknowns. 5 scariest time travelers from other dimensions with backstories. So let's check. Do you believe in time travel? I don't know. Let's check this out.
The concept of time travel and being able to travel to different dimensions is an exhilarating thought for some. For others, it's a terrifying thought that other versions.
I'd like to be able to travel to another dimension, like go back in the days of the Old West or in the days of the Round Table, stuff like that, but I want to be able to come back. That's what's scary to me, is to get there and not be able to come back. I'd also like to be able to travel into the future so I could see what's coming and be ready for it.
Versions of ourselves exist out there. If you had the ability to time travel or slip into another dimension, what would you do? Here are 5 people who claim to have traveled through time. Number 5. In 2017, the YouTube channel Apex TV uploaded a video that would go viral within a matter of days. The channel mainly focused on urban legends and the unexplained and paranormal until 2017, when they uploaded their first video with a man only known as Noah. Noah, whose identity has been concealed, claims to be a time traveler from the year 2030, but is currently stuck in the year 2017. The comment section of this now private video lit up with conspiracy theorists.
See, that's what would suck. He's from 2030 and stuck in 2017. That would suck.
2017. The comment section of this now private video lit up with conspiracy theorists and scientists alike trying to get to the bottom of it. Lots of people commented on how this was fake and staged in order to get the channel more views, while others wholeheartedly believed Noah and his claims. To dispel the rumors, Noah took a lie detector test, which he passed, proving that he was not some wild science fiction fantasist. He explained, "My natural time is the year 2030. That's the year all of my family and friends are in. Simply put, I was fired from my job during a mission in the year 2017, which is why I'm now stuck here." You're probably wondering, if this is all true, how did Noah time travel? Well, he told the Sun newspaper in 2019, "I have a device in my left hand. It was implanted before I went back in time via a surgical procedure.
X-ray.
It was painless, and the device actually helps in transporting all the atoms within my body. I'm not a scientist, so I do not know the details." He also produced an X-ray that shows a small device in his hand. Noah also made a few predictions on what we can expect to happen in the year 2021. He claims that everyone will be wearing Google glasses, self-driving cars will be the next big thing, renewable energy will finally start to take over from fossil fuels, and that Donald Trump will be re-elected for a second term in office. With 2021 just months away, all we can do is wait and see if Noah's predictions come true. Noah also claims to have been to the year 6000. He showed the photo in the video and explained that it had bad quality due to time travel distorting images. He said about the year 6000, "Artificial intelligence will be able to predict things with 100% accuracy, and in the year 6000, we will upload our brains to computers so that we can live forever. They don't want me to tell you this." According to Noah, there is a version of himself living in our world right now. His natural age in his time is 50, but when he was recruited, he was given an age-reversing drug in order to make him appear 25.
Oh,
Many
please
have asked
send
why
me back
Noah
to
hasn't met the
45.
version of himself in our world. To prove his claims, his reply was, "I have to stay far away from him to avoid causing a paradox, because the results of that could be profound, by what I understand." If Noah is telling the truth, then time travel could be just upon our horizon.
If you could go back in time in your life, like start over again at like age 18, 19 years old, would you do it? I think I would. If I could, I don't know. A lot of people I've heard say that they would change stuff, but then other people say, no, you probably wouldn't. You'd probably do things exactly the same way. But if I could, there's a lot of things I would change. If I could go back to when I was like 18, 19 years old, I'd like invest in Microsoft or invest in Apple or something like that. Start investing in that because you know what happened with them. Or even Walmart. Invest big into Walmart or something. By the time that I'd be 40, 50, I wouldn't have had to work anymore.
Number 4.
Just a pipe dream, probably.
Internet forums and discussion boards can
seen
often
this
be
so
filled
many
with odd
times.
and bizarre people, making even more bizarre claims, and this story is no exception. In the year 2000, a man by the username Time Travel Zero and John Titor began posting to the Time Travel Institute forum. John claimed that he was a soldier from the year 2036. His mission was to travel back to 1975 in order to get an IBM 5100 computer. This computer was paramount in stopping a computer virus that had obliterated the world. His post reads, "Greetings, I'm a time traveler from the year 2036. I'm on my way home after getting an IBM 5100 computer system from the year 1975. My time machine is a stationary mass, temporal displacement unit manufactured by General Electric. The unit is powered by 2 top-spin dual positive singularities that produce a standard, offset triple sinusoid.
Huh?
I'll be happy to post pictures of the unit." John Titor became somewhat of an internet celebrity, and he began posting on the Coast to Coast AM forums, specifically addressing the host, Art Bell. For those who aren't familiar, Coast to Coast AM is a radio show that covers topics such as UFOs and the unexplained. During his time on the internet, Titor made some predictions. He claimed that a civil war would engulf the United States starting in 2004, following the election of the president of that year. He said the conflict will see a Waco-type event happening every month that steadily gets worse and erupts by 2008. He also made claims about World War III that it would happen in 2015, stating, "In 2015, Russia launches a nuclear strike against major cities in the US, China, and Europe. The United States counterattacks. The US cities are destroyed, along with the American Federal Empire. The European Union and China were also destroyed." Of course, we're now living in 2020, and none of these things actually happened.
Yeah.
But to those living in the early 2000s, these predictions must have played on their minds. Perhaps these predictions did come true, but in an alternate universe than the one John Titor slipped into to take a break from his mission. Or perhaps these events will come true in the years to come. John made his last forum post in November of 2001 before signing off forever. However, there's a 2005 interview with a man claiming to be John. He told Hustler in February of 2005, "If you want to survive the coming conflict, learn to let fear keep you alive. Too many of you turn off the life-saving natural instincts and premonitions when it's convenient. The same person who has 5 deadbolt locks on their door will think nothing about getting into a parking garage elevator with a total stranger.
That's true.
If you want to live, keep your eyes open."
That's true. Intuition.
Number 3.
Go with your gut, your feelings.
July of 1954 was a hot one for the residents of Tokyo, Japan, with temperatures reaching 23 Celsius and 80% humidity. People were desperately seeking shade and somewhere cool to sit. For employees of the Haneda Tokyo International Airport, it was said to be a day like any other. They were to welcome passengers from their flights from around the world, perform security checks, and let them be on their way to their destination. But one passenger caught their eye and would span a decades-long mystery. When going through customs, a Caucasian man with a beard handed over his passport to be stamped so that he could gain entry into Japan. The passport was different, however, and employees quickly picked up on the fact that instead of his passport saying US or Great Britain, it had the name Taured on it. According to the employees at the airport, the man spoke mainly French, but could also speak Japanese and several other languages. Not too uncommon for a businessman flying around the world for meetings. The man was quickly whisked away for further interrogation, as no one had ever heard of the country Taured. In the interrogation room, the man explained that he'd been to Japan before and even showed them the stamp on his passport from the last time he had visited. He confirmed the company he was working for and which hotel he had a reservation for, but when they checked, no reservation had been made at the hotel under that man's name. After much back and forth, the employees asked him to point to Taured on the map. The man pointed to the country of Andorra, nestled between France and Spain. He was perplexed as to why the country was labeled Andorra and insisted that Taured had existed for thousands of years. Suspicions about this man and his intentions were growing, and so the employees contacted the local police, who detained him in a room pending a further investigation. They believed that the man was involved in illegal activities such as drug smuggling or weapons dealing, and was therefore using face documentation to gain entrance into the country. Tokyo police worked through the night to find the true identity of this international man of mystery. 2 guards had been posted outside of the man's hotel room in case he tried to make a quick
Did he
escape.
vanish?
But the night passed without incident. When officers went to retrieve the man for further questioning the next day, he was gone. Despite there being only one way in and out of the hotel room, the man had disappeared as mysteriously as he had appeared. Over the years, many people have tried their best to explain what happened on that hot July day at Tokyo International Airport. The prevailing theory is that the man is a time traveler, and somehow, during his flight, he slipped into our dimension. With little answers, we're left wondering, who was this man from Taured?
That's crazy.
Number 2. Friends Anne Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain made the trip from their home in Great Britain to Versailles, France, on August 10, 1901. What started as a sightseeing holiday for the 2 women became one of the strangest events in history. After the 2 had gotten themselves settled and cleaned up after their long journey, they took a short tour around the Palace of Versailles. Both women looked at each other and agreed the whole thing was far too boring for them, so they decided to leave the group. They headed for the gardens of the palace and happened upon a small house on the palace's grounds that was built in 1762. Using only their guidebooks and intuition, the women tried to find a way into the manor house, but ended up getting lost. Instead of sticking to the main streets and paths, the women ended up going down a small alleyway, which led them to what happened next. Both women described their surroundings changing rapidly before their eyes. Instead of houses, they saw dilapidated farmhouses and felt a sense of unease and dread.
Another dimension.
People around them were dressed in period clothing that stood out as being odd and unhuman. Anne said everything suddenly looked unnatural, therefore unpleasant. Even the trees seemed to become flat and lifeless, like woodworked in tapestry. There were no effects of light and no shade and no wind stirred the trees. After much wandering around, looking at dated cottages and people who looked like wax sculptures, the 2 women reached a pair of gates. However, their strange time slip wasn't over. Eleanor claimed she had seen Marie Antoinette sat in the garden, sketching and painting. As soon as the 2 women returned to the cottage, everything returned back to normal, and they rejoined their tour group. Tourists began to appear wearing clothing of the time period, and the events of the day slowly went back to normal. Both women were adamant that the home that they found was haunted and that they went down the alley and somehow slipped through time into August of 1792. The pair have stood by their stories despite receiving a lot of criticism from skeptics.
Okay, I kind of believe it because I've had a couple of experiences. When I lived in Arkansas, I was driving home one night and I decided to take a different way that I had taken before. So it wasn't like I didn't know the road or anything like that. And it was maybe like 5 miles from my house. And it ended up like freezing rain. So I was just like barely moving down the road. And I slid off the road and ended up having to change my tire and everything because it ruined the tire. And then I couldn't get out. So I had to get on my cell phone, called AAA and got the tow truck there to pull me out and everything. And he actually got me pulled out, started again, went off again, had to call AAA again. He came out again and fixed my tire. Actually, I think he brought me a tire. I can't remember. But anyways, got me back on the road. And somehow, I don't know how, because it was a straight shot to my house pretty much. There really wasn't any corners or anything like that, nowhere for me to go. But I got lost. I could not find my way to my house. This started at like 10 o'clock at night. I finally got home at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I ended up like 15 miles away in the other direction. And I don't know how I ended up over there. I really don't. I think, like them women, I think I slipped into another dimension or something for a while. And then driving through Logan Canyon when I lived in Utah, coming back from the play. I think I've told this story, but it was about a 40-minute drive, 45 minutes, something like that. I remember getting to the top of the canyon. Then I remember passing the rest area into Logan 45 miles later. I don't remember anything in between. Nothing. I don't know. It seemed like I had just barely got to the top 40 miles away. So I don't know. I don't know how to explain that stuff. I believe it.
Number 1. In 1951, RAF Air Marshal Sir Robert Victor Goddard wrote a piece for the Saturday Evening Post newspaper, claiming that in 1935 he'd been involved in a time slip. Victor, born in Wembley, London, served in the First World War and the Second World War, with a long list of battles and accomplishments to his name. But it's the 1951 article that would broadcast his name into the limelight. The story goes that Victor claims that in 1935, he was flying his Hawker Hart light bomber over an abandoned airfield when he got caught up in a storm. Victor claims that as he was flying through, he somehow slipped into the year 1939. He explained that he saw brand new yellow airplanes which were not in use by the RAF at the time, and that he saw people in the airfield wearing blue overalls and not the standard issue brown overalls. All of the buildings in the airfield were no longer abandoned and had been redone, with aircraft hangars and living quarters standing much nicer than they'd previously done. Just 4 years later, the abandoned Air Force Base would be reopened and transformed into a training center, preparing the country once more for war. The airfield was filled with yellow Hawker Harts, just as Victor had seen on that night in 1935. Did Victor slip 4 years into the future and see the newly refurbished RAF base? Or are these false claims? Victor would spend the rest of his career defending his story about the night and begin giving talks on UFOs and other paranormal phenomena.
I think that stuff's really, really interesting. What do you think? How about a joke? I got a question. If Walmart sells belts, why do we see so many butt cracks? Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag Mean Gene, all that fun stuff. And if you like this video, tell all your friends, leave a comment down below. And if you didn't like it, then just shut up. And I will see you next time.